Welcome everyone. Christine Fox, Vice President of Operations here at CAST. You are here for Quick Bites and Insights, our first EdTech demos. You can access the slide deck through the bit.ly that my colleague Sam will be putting in the chat. We're happy you're here and we're going to dig in. If you're not familiar with CAST as an organization, we envision a world where all learning experiences in school, the workplace, and life are intentionally designed to elevate strengths and eliminate barriers so everyone has the opportunity to grow and thrive. And we have been around for this is our 41st year of supporting student learning. You may know CAST from UDL. The Universal Design for Learning is an approach to improve and optimize teaching and learning for all by setting clear, rigorous goals, anticipating barriers, and proactively designing to minimize those barriers. And so with that, we'll be talking a little bit today, and the different organizations here talk about how they are aligned to UDL. And the reason that these particular partners are with us and solution providers is because they are also participating in our conference this summer, UDL-Con International, which will be July 22nd and 23rd at the Capitol Hilton in Washington, D.C. Why should you attend? You should join other educators, research innovators at the premier event on UDL. Get inspired with actionable strategies, innovative tools, and a powerful vision for inclusive education. So the organizations that we'll have today, we will have presenters from Estendio, Ben Scott, 5-Star Technologies, Stephanie Waring, Colleen Sandquist will be here speaking about ReadSpeaker, Cheryl Miyake with Seesaw, and then Blinko from LessonPix. I'm going to let them introduce themselves so they can really dig into the content of their organizations. And as a reminder, you cannot have UDL if you don't have accessibility in mind. And so we work today to ensure that this slide deck is accessible using an automated checker, but also manually checking. A shout out to my colleague Sam Boucher, who helped with that. And then within the presentation, you have the option to include captions, and we will be providing the recording. If you'd like to know more about accessibility and access our accessibility resources, you can visit the bit.ly that will be in the chat. So with that, I am going to turn this over and welcome Ben Scott from Talo. It is a product of Estendio to tell us more about this incredible literacy tool.
Thank you very much, Christine, and hello everyone. If you can't tell from my accent, I'm joining you all from a very sunny, which is unusual, Glasgow, Scotland. My name is Ben, as we mentioned, and I'm marketing manager at Estendio, and I am a white man with brown hair, a bit of a mustache because I'm having a bit of a quarter-life crisis. And on screen here, we're going to be talking about Talo, which is on the right-hand side in a laptop. And we're going to be talking about how Talo empowers engagement and understanding and really gives learners the ability to access content in a way that makes sense for them and their minds. Next slide, please. So I want to kick off just the beginning to sort of set the scene and really give you a bit of context to why we developed our tool, Talo. And the real reason is that academic reading and writing is a real challenge, and actually being understanding it is also really challenging. And this isn't necessarily just for higher education learners, but learners throughout life, both in K through 12, into the workplace and beyond as well. We're always learning. And on the right hand side here, I have an example of a PDF academic journal. I understand it's a little bit small to see, but I think that will help me illustrate my point in that it's very small text, it's lots of big clumps of black on white, it suddenly jumps to a table, there's columns, and this makes it really difficult to read generally, but can be difficult for bits of assistive technology to actually pick up the text if it's not properly tagged. And actually, there's been some research done over the years, and it's found that 56% of academic PDFs are not accessible. So if you put that into context and think about, all the documents that are out there in the world, and only half of them are built for that everyone can actually access and get that knowledge from, then that's a big problem, right? whether that be, content that's on your learning management system. You might have a lot more control over the accessibility, right? But if you are setting your learners a task where they have to go out and find their own research papers or articles or websites, you have no control over whether the people who created those have made them accessibly or with UDL in mind. And that means that, we're not getting access to that knowledge. In research that we've done here at Talo, we've also found that learners are spending most of their time just searching for the right bit to actually read. They're, going through dozens of documents at a time and going, nope, not relevant, done. Nope, not relevant, done. And that's time consuming, but it can also be really frustrating. And that's where anxiety can start to come in as well. If you're just going through all of these papers and realizing, oh, I'm not understanding this isn't relevant, I'm not getting this, that can all build up and you ruminate, right? And you think, oh, maybe this isn't for me, maybe learning isn't for me, maybe reading isn't for me, which might sound dramatic, but all these little things all add up. And that is one of the main reasons why we developed our tool, Talo. So on the next slide, we'll get to see a bit of Talo in action. So Talo uses a custom extraction technology that pulls out text, images, tables, charts, and more from your bits of content that you upload into our platform, and it transforms it into a tailored, easier to read and consistent reading environment. So on the right-hand side here, we have an example of a PDF before and a PDF after in the Talo platform. And it shows that it's much more streamlined, and it's just a lot prettier to look at, but there's a lot more to it as well, which I'll go on the next slide. What's a great advantage about Talo is that while you are reading your content, if you do come across something that maybe doesn't make sense, maybe something's new to you, it's really easy to just highlight that and actually engage with your documents in a much more dynamic way using ethical AI. So you can highlight a concept that's new to you and it'll be explained in a way that you can actually understand. What's great about this as well is that the original text is there. We're not rewriting anything. We're not completely taking away the context of the main document. We're just simply adapting bits of content as and when the learner needs, which is great. Next slide, please. Another great advantage about Talo is our tailored content summaries. Talo uses the power of ethical AI to generate a quick summary of your document, so you can get a bit of insight onto what to actually expect in that bit of content and sort of help with that challenge I was talking around of answering that question, is this actually relevant to me? This is great as well if maybe you experience any working memory challenges or just have difficulty, connecting the dots, especially if we're doing project-based work and we have to relate multiple sources to one bigger picture. If you have a working memory difference, for example, that can actually be quite tricky. So with our content summaries, it's much easier to help you connect the dots. You can refer back to it any time and it offers much more stability and reassurance. Next slide, please. You might have been able to guess from some of the screenshots on screen, but Talo offers a fully customized reading environment. We give the users the ability to make Talo suit their needs, and they can change it at any time. So they can change the background color overlay. We have lots of different accessible fonts, from pop-ins to Lexend, Open Dyslexic. You can change the font size, the line spacing, and alignment as well. As I said, you can change this at any time. So maybe today you're feeling a bit more dark mode. Maybe in the morning you want a nice bright sunny peach color. Whatever works for you, Talo gives you the choice to make it suit you best. Next slide, please. Now that was a very quick whistle-stop tour, and this is a very busy slide. But it's basically to say that there's lots and lots that Talo offers on top of this. And we've actually just as recently as yesterday morning released a whole bunch of new features into Talo as well that's been directly informed by the feedback from learners who are currently using Talo to support their reading and research. From multi-document uploads to markup tools like highlighting and adding notes and comments. We have natural sounding AI-generated text-to-speech voices, and also now offer summaries for each section of your document as well. So not just that document overview at the start, throughout every bit as well. So it's really exciting times, And on our next slide, I'd love to get you involved. So here we have on our right hand side all our shiny faces, or some of them that are behind Talo. And what's really exciting is that we're at sort of a really interesting stage at the moment with Talo, where we're really wanting to help shape the future of AI in education and the ethical use of it as well. And we thought, what better opportunity than to have educators, much like yourselves, build Talo with us. So if that's something that you're interested in, or if you want to try Talo out for yourself, you can either scan the QR code that's on screen now, or just go to taloapp.com. My email address to get me direct is ben@estendio.co.uk. I'll throw that in the chat afterwards. But yeah, that's me and my lovely, very quick whistle-stop tour of everything that Talo offers.
Oh, I love that mention of the whistle stop tour. So thank you, Ben. And I appreciate all the content as well as the awesome accent and the international connections here with CAST. So we appreciate the fact that you gave us some time for questions. And one of the questions, and Kelly Suding, my colleague, may be helping me too, because I'm afraid to change my view here, everyone that was here at the very beginning, because it's all working properly. But one question was, what do you mean by ethical AI?
Yeah, so I think, as we know, AI is definitely a bit of a hot topic at the moment, and you might have like concerns about, students or learners using AI in a way that means that they might not be learning fundamental skills, and maybe an over reliance on it. But I think how we phrase ethical AI is like using AI in a way that understands that learners are probably going to be using AI, and but we can use it in a way that actually, empowers all learners to access things in an equitable way. So we don't generate any new content. Students are not able to, write essays or create reports with Talo, but it's much more about, adapting and modifying existing content in a way that makes sense to them, so that they can then, have a similar experience to their peers. There's lots of other ins and outs on, models that we use and etc., that I definitely cannot explain in a way that some of our tech people who I know are watching me with beady eyes can explain in the best way. But please, if you are interested in learning any more, reach out to me and we can have a chat.
Gotcha. So, and I did want to say to the audience, and I should have said this at the beginning, please do post questions in the Q&A. You can make comments in the chat. If there's a solution here that you've leveraged or tried, you can share that as well. So we do want to provide that opportunity to engage. One thing that our next question, Ben, is, we require any products to make strict privacy standards. Since you are not a US-based company, have you met the FERPA and COPA standards, and do you complete data privacy agreements?
Yes, fantastic question. Um, as I mentioned, we are very new to the US market with Talo. And while we have, as some of you may be aware, in the UK and in the European Union, we have GDPR certifications and legislation that we have to upstand. Talo's not currently available for students who are under the age of 13 because of just the way that our product works right now. But that's something we're actively pursuing. It takes a long time, and yeah, obviously it has some intricacies with us being based in the UK, and we don't have like a US office or anything, so we're just, that's taking its time. So it's definitely available for educators and practitioners like yourselves at the moment, but sort of K through 12, not so much right now.
Okay, but students over the age of 13, so you're not COPA, is that right?
Yes, as far as I'm
Okay.
aware.
Okay, yeah, and the European GDPR is actually at minimum or a bit higher standard. So sometimes, having lived the world of privacy, it's a matter of getting all your ducks in a row and paperwork in a row as well. Next question: does Talo read the alt text of images or recognized images on PDFs?
Fantastic question. Answer coming soon. Um, so at the moment, we don't use OCR technology, which is optical character recognition in Talo. because we found it creates sort of like difficulties with like the structure, like the example I showed on columns. But as part of that, we do lose some captions. But that's something our team is actively pursuing, as well as, a lot of images in PDFs, like I said, don't actually have alt text in them either. So we're looking at a sensible solution to lift the existing text if they've been built correctly and have them in, or not so much how we can make them more accessible as well by sort of, yeah, in a similar way
Gotcha.
to like PowerPoint or slides would suggest.
That's awesome. And does Talo highlight each word when reading?
On read aloud, that
Yep.
is so with our text to speech, yes, it does. In an update that comes out, oh God, in 2 weeks' time, which is very exciting. We've got some lovely new voices. I actually read a study once that Americans prefer British voices on for text to speech. It helps you retain information better. Don't ask me for the source, I can't remember. But I think I like the novelty of hearing an American read out my journals, so maybe it's just one of those things. But lots of voice options, and yep, active word highlighting coming very soon.
Incredible. So, well, I appreciate your honesty too, right? So
Yeah.
you all are growing and learning. This is a fairly new tool, new to the US market. If you're interested in any new, someone asked if you're interested in pilots or any educators testing it out. So I'll let you transition to the chat so I can introduce our next presenter. But we're so happy to have you. Thank you, Ben, and encourage folks to engage in the chat while we move on to 5-Star Technology Solutions. 5-Star has Stephanie Waring who will be presenting and sharing about their organization and some tools that they leverage.
Hi, everyone. I'm so excited to be here. And I do love the idea of a whistle stop tour because that's exactly how this feels, especially because for my part, 5-Star does so many different things. It is definitely going to be just a quick snapshot of just some of the things we do. So again, hi, my name is Stephanie. I'm the Senior Director of Research and Higher Ed at 5-Star Technology Solutions. Just so you can get an image of me, I am a white woman with blonde, wavy hair. Today I'm wearing glasses with clear frames. And I just have to say, we are one of CAST's newest partners, if not the newest partner. And we're just thrilled to partner with CAST and support the work of making learning accessible and engaging for all students. So next slide, if you don't mind. Okay, I'd like to share just a bit about who we are. So we are a professional tech services company. So I'm going to share just a bit about what we do in a nutshell, from professional development and technical services to data analytics and staff evaluations. We have empowered educators to innovate in and outside of the classroom for 20 years. This is actually our 20-year anniversary this year. We're very proud and really excited about that. So we're just a bit different from other CAST partners today in that we're not bringing one specific tool. Rather, we help bring multiple tech tools to educators. So I'm going to focus today on my area of expertise and my home at 5-Star, which is professional learning. Our passion is truly in bringing the best professional learning to educators that's focused on tech tools that will improve student learning experiences. We partner with providers like Google and Adobe, and we bring the best of ed tech from across providers. We focus on tools like AI. We're definitely always doing our best to be in the know when it comes to those ethical uses of AI. I know we were talking about that earlier. And we are constantly, I'd say almost obsessively, on the lookout for tools that will improve the learning experience for all students from kindergarten to college. We truly believe that all students should have the opportunity to engage with learning in meaningful ways, in ways that make them feel seen, connected, and truly motivated. We know that technology in itself doesn't foster improved student learning experiences and outcomes, and that technology for technology's sake is definitely not the answer. And so that's where we come in. We have to make sure that educators understand how to use tech tools alongside more traditional tools in their toolbox that we know help increase access and agency for students. So next slide. Okay, so we bring the best and latest technology tools to educators from kindergarten to college. So that's quite a range of students. And again, we believe that technology breaks down barriers by providing students with diverse learning needs equal opportunities to access and engage with educational materials and experiences. So just some of the things we do: we provide professional learning on UDL, AI, blended learning, Google and Adobe tools, and we help K-12 schools and pre-service teacher programs integrate STEM pedagogy across subject areas. We work hard to integrate UDL principles into all of this work, and this is just a very small glimpse into what we do. So truly what we strive to do is to curate the best tech tools to enhance learning and train educators to use these tools effectively all the way from K-12 to college. So today I'm going to share one of the tools in our toolbox, and I have chosen this one because, as the founder said, if you can't pick it up in 3 minutes, I have done something wrong. So I chose this one specifically because this is something that you could download even as I'm talking and start using it right away. So this, again, is just one of the tools in our toolbox. It's a sneak peek at the awesome things that we bring to educators in order to increase student access and agency. So next slide. So an easy tool that we love is called Stickity. You can see some Stickity stickers off to the right. You can see how beautiful they are, how attention grabbing they are, and that is very much on purpose. So let's go ahead and dive in. So Stickity is a set of digital stickers. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm still on the previous slide. Okay, Stickity is a set of digital stickers designed to make classwork more joyful, accessible, and inclusive, especially for students with learning differences or those who are learning English. So truly, Stickity uses the distractions of the screen to educators' advantage. You can kind of see that right now because I can't stop looking away from I'm looking for or major takeaway. So Stickity's engaging visuals help teachers in a whole bunch of different ways. And that includes communicating expectations, supporting content, simplifying feedback, and providing scaffolding and differentiation. So the way that you can access this tool is through a Google Docs add-on. There's also a Google Slides add-on. There are also, I want to share this, add-ons for Google Forms as well as Google Sheets. So I know if any of you use Google Forms, I was sort of losing my mind the other day when I heard about that add-on because forms can be so boring and sort of, I get lost if there are multiple sections. So I thought that was fantastic to hear. It's also available via a free plan and pro plans. You can look into the different plans, and I'll include some information later on about those. And then all Stickity icons have alt text built in. So I'm ready for the next slide now. All right, so while Stickity does support most areas of the UDL guidelines, I'm going to zoom into emotional capacity and specifically ways that the icons help students develop awareness of themselves and of others in the classroom. So truly, it was difficult to decide which areas of support to focus on since there were so many, but I'd like to look at ways that Stickity supports guideline 9.2 in particular. So expectations icons encourage students to self-monitor their behavior and progress, which in turn helps to promote self-awareness and independence. I really hope that you enjoy this quick demo where I built out a class activity using Stickity stickers. For all students, and so that I know I've decreased the cognitive load for my students as much as possible. So I'm going to go ahead and use my Stickity add-on that you can see here on the right side of the screen to go ahead and add some stickers to help with that. So the first thing I'm going to do is add the silent sticker. Notice that you can see the icon as well as text, increasing accessibility, and there are also options for Spanish and French. I also want students to know that they should be working independently on this activity. So I'm going to grab that sticker. And then finally, I want students to know that they should be using their laptop to engage with this activity. All right, so let me make this pretty, move these around. Next, I'm going to add a timer so that students can understand how much time they should be spending on this. Know that there are no startling, disturbing sounds. related to these timers. So I'm going to go ahead and add that. And then I am also going to add steps in navigation so that students understand what to do first, what to do next. So they'll begin by reading the article, and then they'll move to answering the questions. All right, and the last thing I want to do is really call students' attention to the instructions. So that's the first thing that they look at. So I am going to move to the content and support menu. And I just love all of the different options here. So I'm going to scroll just a bit slowly so that you can see all of the stickers. I love the ones related to AI, but all of these really call students' attention to the things that are most important in the learning at that moment. And what I'm looking for is this one, just a simple sticker calling students' attention to the instructions. I'm going to add this here. All right, and so now you can see that students are going to be much more adept, or it'll be much more easy for students to navigate this activity because they have these visual cues helping them understand what to do, how to do it, and how long they should be spending on this activity. Okay, so that was just a quick demo. I actually saw some great questions in the chat. So yes, there is a free version. Again, at the end, actually in just one slide, I'm going to share all the information you need. And then Roberta, your question is really interesting. Does it let you adjust the speed? And that also gets to triggering your vertigo. I'll be honest with you, when I saw some of the stickers, I also was feeling that way. And so you'll see that for many of the stickers, there's an option for those with movement and those without movement, so you can make those decisions about what makes the most sense. In terms of the speed, that is something actually I want to check in on because I'm not sure, but that is a great question. So if you want to grab my email address in a couple minutes, we can definitely follow up. So I wanted to share just one more example of how Stickity could be used, in particular in a station rotations activity. So you can see here through the icons or stickers, the expectations for student behavior are made clear, as well as the timing and the tools that students will be using. So as you saw in the video, the uses for Stickity icons are almost endless when it comes to supporting access for all learners. So again, here talking about Stickity, but representing 5-star and trying to showcase really a glimpse for you of the great tools that we advocate for, that we help put in front of educators. So next and final slide. Okay, so if you'd like to learn more about the add-on, I'm actually going to grab some info here and drop it in the chat. Reach out to us at 5-star, and certainly please reach out. We'd love to connect just about all the amazing things we do at 5-star around all of the tech tools, our partnerships with Google and Adobe, among others. So please go ahead and connect with us. So I'm going to go ahead and grab this, put it in the chat. So you'll find my information, 5-star information, as well as some Stickity information. So thank you, everybody.
Stephanie, before you go, we do have another minute. Another question was, how do you directly engage with districts? So I guess if there was a district, what are some specifics?
So there are a whole lot of different ways that we engage with school corporations, and then as well as teacher preparation programs. So what our vision is that we are helping move the needle when it comes to meaningful tech integration across all grade levels, and in particular for teachers, so who are moving into the workforce. So we help schools with professional learning. So we provide professional learning through workshops, series of workshops. We offer asynchronous learning that's on demand. We also have a full suite of services and options around Google tools and licenses. We even can help with hardware, as well as Adobe licenses. We even offer on-site technicians. And then we, honestly, the list really goes on and on. So I would encourage you to go to the 5-star website. You can see under the professional development offerings, all of the different types of training and professional learning that we offer. We also offer coaching. services and consulting services just to help schools on their journey as they are trying to meaningfully integrate technology, and especially as they are focusing on integrating technology to increase accessibility.
Awesome. And so one quick follow-up to that, and then we're going to go on to our next presenter, is Stickity available as for Microsoft, or is it strictly Google-based tool?
It's a Google-based product.
Okay, good to know. Well, it was wonderful, Stephanie, to have you. I'm sure folks will continue the conversation in the chat. And with that, we're going to march on to ReadSpeaker. So Colleen Sandquist will be sharing about ReadSpeaker. Colleen?
Hello, thanks, Christine. Hi, everybody. I'm Colleen Sandquist. I am with ReadSpeaker. I'm the Strategic Partner Manager. We are just delighted to be starting our second year as a partner with CAST. A little bit about ReadSpeaker. We have been around for 25 years creating voice. We are owned by Hoya Voice, and so voice is really, really important to us. We are set aside when it comes to text-to-speech and voice products because of our integrated solutions. And I'll get to that a little bit deeper later on. And also, again, I'm going to use the term ethical AI. So we start all of our voices with voice actors from the areas where they live, and we bring on these voice actors and they work with our voice team. And they read a monologue, and through that ethical AI and machine learning, we create these beautiful human sounding voices that read text and stream text. So we're going to start by looking at what we do inside the LMS. And if we could go to the next slide, that would be great. So we talked a little bit about an integrated solution. So literally, WebReader and DocReader, the two ReadSpeaker solutions, are inside the LMS ecosystem. These are certified integrations with all of the major players. We read HTML and documents, and that seamless implementation and installation is great. So when we talk about learning management systems, we're not only talking about education. Think about corporate training courses, professional learning, certified courses that organizations like CAST and CourseArc and Quality Matters have built within their own platforms. We can integrate there. It's very, very simple. So when we talk about this integrated model, that is very much in alignment with the mission of CAST, breaking down barriers, and that integration makes tools available for all learners, regardless of whether we need the support or we just have a learning preference that would give us a little more engagement within the content. So when we think about learner variability with all of the learners that we're supporting today, and I like to say from twinkles to wrinkles, we are focusing on all learners, regardless of where they are in their academic journey. That's why we start with K-12, we work through higher ed, and we also support our workplace and course completion there. Someone said this earlier, and I think it was Christine, and she said that you can't have UDL without accessibility first. So we build in accessibility features like enlarged text, like translation, like dictionary, all of the personalized, customizable learning options for students when it comes to font size, spacing, color, contrast, background, things of that nature. So lots and lots of options for our learners. And when we have this integrated model, we are providing voice and choice for learners to engage in content that is most meaningful for them. On our next slide, I have a short video, and when we get done watching the video, I just want to call your attention to a couple of pieces. So in front of you, you see ReadSpeaker web reader and the video, and Sam is going to play that for us.
TI 1.3, or a block. Depending on your LMS, you will find ReadSpeaker embedded into content, discussion topics and threads, assignments, quizzes, and more. Also, you will be able to read documents such as EPUBs, PDFs, Office documents, and more.
Optical character recognition, OCR.
We can OCR scan PDF documents that are giant images, making them readable.
Human-like voices.
We start with voice actors and create each voice, so we can customize pronunciations at your request.
Alternative formats.
We have streaming audio that is synced with the word and sentence highlighting, as well as the option to download the file to MP3.
Quizzes.
ReadSpeaker is located in Quizzes. In Brightspace, Canvas, and Blackboard Learn, ReadSpeaker has removed the dictionary, translate, and download as MP3 tools at delivery to better promote academic integrity. Of course, if you want those tools on in Quizzes, we can turn them on.
Dark mode.
Learners can use dark mode to read their information. Change to dark mode, which is a light blue text on a black background, and then display the page as text.
Daily data.
De-identified data is shown in the customer portal for ReadSpeaker and is displayed by months and days.
Text aid and speak up.
Read the web. Read the ATI.
ReadSpeaker, pioneering voice technology, the text-to-speech software your learners will want to use.
So that just gave you a little snippet of what we have available. So I'd like to call your attention to the different voices that were used. All of those voices started with voice actors. We are supporting over 50 different languages with 200 different voices. So Ben had talked about the variation of the voices that really lends itself to student engagement. We can support content created in different languages. So if we think about world language courses, if there is Spanish text, you can ask for a Spanish voice and your Spanish text will be delivered streaming with that multimodal learning experience with the sentence and word by word highlighting along with that auditory support. From a corporate perspective, this is really powerful. We have some customers up in Canada and they have French Canadian content. And so we have provided for them a French Canadian voice and it reads their content beautifully. We also can speech enable websites and provide that accessibility for all the learners who come to your website from around the world. And this really speaks directly to the identity piece of the UDL guidelines. Identity is a big theme, and so that is pretty powerful. The customization is available. If you have got something that ReadSpeaker is not reading quite properly, we can go ahead and we can fix that in your instance. We can create custom voices. If you wanted to build your brand, we have actually Sonos speakers. They wanted to have their own voice. And so they contracted with the actor Giancarlo Esposito from Breaking Bad. And he now is the voice of Sonos, and ReadSpeaker created that voice for them. The multimodal learning I already talked about. The alternative formats is great because we are engaging in content at all different times of the day or night, on the go, while we're at the gym. So having that download to MP3 is really, really powerful. What you're looking at on the screen here is a picture of our doc reader. So when we engage with PDFs or rich text files, Microsoft documents, we bring them into the doc reader and you will see in that orange focus box up at the top, the tools are highlighted there. We have our listen button, we have text mode, we have highlighters that are available in doc reader. So students can really engage in that text and then export their learning out. On the next slide, we are going to talk a little bit about what it looks like when we're supporting outside of the LMS, because not everybody is using and LMS. So how do we work here? We offer text aid. This is a comprehensive learning platform providing text to speech and speech to text. We have study tools, annotations, there's file sharing between educators and learners, and also we provide a browser extension for searching out on the web and looking for that web accessibility. So on the next slide, we are going to really excited about this. First time this has ever been discussed on a public platform is we are going to be launching a new tool before the end of the year. It is a student success tool. And in full transparency, it doesn't even have a name yet. That's how new it is. So we're going to provide a lot of different options for learners there to engage in content. They can create flashcards, they can take notes, they can create those quizzes to kind of do a little self-assessment, content library, and things of that nature. We are looking for beta testers. So if you are interested, go ahead and put your name in the chat and then put a -beta. And then I will, after I get done presenting, I'll grab your information and then we can connect. And you can also reach out to me because they will be sharing information, my email with everybody. Anyway, moving on to the last slide that I have here for you, just to kind of encapsulate what we talked about. We have beautiful seamless integration, very easy for our LMS admins to integrate that. Those alternative formats are going to be powerful for learners on the go. Enlarged text is going to support our visually challenged learners, but also our language learners really benefit from having that enlarged text at a stable location. And of course, we have our inclusive tools or accessibility tools that I have mentioned before here. We have full integration into proctoring, some of our proctoring solutions incompatible with almost all of them. And again, our voices. I'm not going to go too deeply into the voice section there, but we can make your website accessible. And I'm very happy to let everyone know that ReadSpeaker is the voice of CAST. Right now, you can find us on the UDL Guidelines webpage. So at some point throughout your journey for the rest of the afternoon, after we get done here, you can take a peek, you can see us in action, and go ahead and check out what that looks like. So I thank you so much for your time.
Oh, Colleen, that was incredible. And did I hear you say that you were giving out Sonos speaker systems to some of the attendees?
Not
I'd like to sign up for
that. But yes, we will be at our conferences. Yes, we will.
Okay. Well, then everyone should come to the CAST UDL conference this summer.
That's right.
We do have a couple of minutes for questions. I appreciate you sharing all the details about ReadSpeaker. And one question was, can anyone volunteer or contract to be a voice actor?
That is a great question. And we funnel all of those requests through our voice office, actually in Sweden. But typically what we're doing is we look for actors in locations that are looking for some additional voice support. So if you are interested in that, you can go ahead and drop that in the chat as well. And we can explore that a little bit more.
Okay, I have a hot topic question, and I'm going to guess maybe where this came from, but how do you get buy-in to talk to educators when they may feel like text-to-speech is cheating?
That is a great question. And yes, we do. We come up against this. This is not something new. I can look at my friend Kelly over there. She has done many presentations on this. And what we need to do is we need to be able to understand and convey to our educators that learner variability is the norm. Not everyone learns in the same way, and everyone has the right to engage in content that is most meaningful for them. So when we take a look at offering text-to-speech to all learners, we're actually leveling the playing field for everyone, as opposed to giving it to a certain subset of learners that may need to engage auditorily with content. This way, we're giving learners voice and choice to thrive in their learning environment.
Awesome. And that was perfect timing because my timer just went off. So we had time for your presentation and questions. And I just want to compliment all the presenters so far. For all attendees, it's kind of like the 7th inning stretch because we have 2 more incredible CAS partners. The first is Seesaw, the first of those last 2. And Cheryl Miyake is going to speak to us. And I want to say that Seesaw is one of the partners that has the CAS UDL product certification. And that's where we started our journey in partnering with them. And I'll share a little bit more about that at the end when we wrap up. So Cheryl, please share us what's new and innovative at Seesaw.
Thank you, Christine. And yes, we're all about voice and choice, like Colleen mentioned at ReadSpeaker. We are all about that at Seesaw too. Hi, everyone. My name is Cheryl Miyake. I am an Asian American, and today I'm wearing a bright blue shirt. I am a former educator in the diverse San Francisco Bay Area, but currently I am joining you from Atlanta, Georgia, as the Curriculum Operations Manager at Seesaw, the learning experience platform built for elementary and primary schools. On the next slide, we'll talk a little bit more about how we are enhancing the elementary experience, and we've been doing that for over a decade. We're one of the most beloved products in K-5 education, used by over 25 million students, educators, and families. We're in over 1/3 of all US schools and used by over 65,000 schools across the world in over 130 countries. Seesaw combines best-in-class multimodal tools to create as well as to capture student work that they're doing physically in the classroom, engaging standards-aligned supplemental curriculum we built in-house, inclusive two-way communication features translated into over 100 languages, and analytics that drive deep insight about student learning, all in a single platform. On the next slide, let's explore the power of Seesaw's multimodal tools firsthand as educators and students demonstrate their use.
My students use Seesaw to demonstrate and share their learning. We use it on our Chromebooks every day. It's really the best app I found for unlocking creative thinking and giving my students so many options to show what they know.
In science, we are working on a group project about the water cycle. We used a picture that I took last week at the beach to label 8 main steps of the water cycle.
My favorite example of figurative language on this page is Shimmering Veil of Heat, which is imagery. Shimmering Veil gives me a better picture of the kind of heat of that day, and it sounds cool.
Says 3 times 2 equals 6. Okay, so my answer is 2/6, or 2/6. Oh, I can simplify that. Kunal has 1/3 of his flour left.
Seesaw really helps with classroom engagement because they're the ones showing their thinking and their learning. They're getting a chance to draw or take pictures and then go a step further and explain their thinking. And it really cements the learning.
Thank you. Next slide, please. Seesaw's digital portfolio captures hands-on projects and as well as digital learning experiences, but our main use case is capturing that 3-dimensional learning on a 2D space. Some of the photos you see on the screen here are depicting students capturing their learning through photos and layering on text labels, annotating with drawing tools, adding their voice recordings, and so much more. They've taken pictures of tangrams and annotated notes on top of the image. They took a picture of a clay sculpture and added text boxes to label it. Other students are taking pictures of items in their classroom or video recording their classmate explaining their work. Students really hone oral language and digital literacy skills as they collaborate with peers or complete work independently. Seesaw provides students with choice in how to rehearse, practice, and share their learning to authentic audiences. Next slide, please. At Seesaw, We know that the learning experiences that are joyful, inclusive, and connected can help prevent achievement gaps and improve equity by supporting diverse learners at this very foundational stage. Research shows that student enjoyment of school early on strongly predicts better academic achievements later, and this fact drives everything that we do at Seesaw. As you can see up at the top right in blue, it says kids who enjoyed school at age 6 received much higher test scores at age 16. And they were also more likely to pass key benchmarks like math and English exams. Providing the best elementary learning experience early on is critical because it has such a lasting impact on future learning and outcomes. Both our platform and our curriculum are built on extensive educational research and designed to create joyful learning experiences that are developmentally appropriate, especially for that K-5 band. Next slide, please. Seesaw's intentionally designed learning experience platform and curriculum supports educators in applying the universal design for learning guidelines that many of us are familiar with. At the top left, you can see that educators can welcome their students' interests and identities by engaging them with our Seesaw lessons. That first picture you see with the video is our intro activity. Teachers can play that to hook students while introducing important vocabulary and terms and modeling skills. Subsequent practice activities will provide that small group, partner, or independent practice opportunities that you need as educators to help build students towards their independence. Students have so many ways to play, rehearse, and choose how they want to capture their learning. The box right below is sustain effort and persistence. You can help engage the entire learning loop and help students really sustain their effort through messaging and commenting on their work, as I mentioned, in over 100 languages. Students love to see caring adults interact with their work, and feedback really fosters that collaborative learning and scaffolds for developmentally appropriate challenge. Right below that, you can empower students to build emotional capacity with character building activities. Individual and collaborative reflective practice helps to cultivate empathy and develop an awareness of self and others. So important, especially in days like today. In the next representation column, tools like our Read With Me tool support the decoding of text and mathematical notation by pairing audio with word-by-word highlighting. Right below that, our Zoom video audio controls and closed captioning tools help learners perceive and access their learning. That is the main barriers to entry that we really need to make sure all students have access to. Our lessons include multimodal ways to help perceive and engage with the content. Present to class, shown down below in the second column, with these template examples, help students build knowledge by highlighting and exploring patterns in order to connect prior knowledge to new knowledge. This helps students transfer new information and skills into their long-term memory. Into the action and expression column, frames help students quickly capture their work while enabling them to choose how to express their learning. And this second little box here in action and expression is exactly what you saw the video on. Our multimodal tools support student expression and communication. And we really suggest that students layer multiple tools and media like text with audio to showcase their learning. Student tool choice, especially with frames or focus mode, provides graduated support for communication practice. And finally, our digital portfolios and folders help students organize their work, reflect on past work, and set meaningful goals. Very important skills to develop as early as possible. Adults can help monitor student progress and help students to build goal setting and reflection routines. On the next slide, this is a zoom in on our multimodal tools in an early literacy lesson. You can see up on the top left that there are written and audio instructions in English and Spanish, providing alternatives for only visual information. Right below that, photo, video, voice, and screen recording make it very easy to add explanation or reflection to any activity. Intuitive, open-ended multimodal learning tools encourage student voice and choice. And what's really great is teachers, students, and family members can leave voice and text comments on student work. And last but not least, what you see with that little red outlined box under the letter M, this is our practice formative assessment mode. And this is giving real-time feedback to students as they're practicing. They're listening, reading the word, sorting, and checking their work, helping to bring that independence into their practice. Next slide. Seesaw can help support key district initiatives like special education and inclusive classrooms, where Seesaw specifically supports students on the spectrum, those with learning disabilities, and IEP 504 accommodations. Seesaw's early English language development supplemental WIDA-aligned lessons help teachers support multilingual learner students to meet content standards. Seesaw's multimodal tools and portfolios track growth and key competencies beyond traditional assessment, supporting Portrait of a Learner and Portrait of a Graduate initiatives. And finally, Seesaw Early Literacy supplemental lessons provide evidence-based intervention aligned to the science of reading. We encourage you to check out the case studies that were just dropped into the chat, thank you, Kelly, to learn more about Seesaw's impact in the classroom. Next slide. As I just mentioned, Seesaw Early Literacy and ELD are powerful resources to implement the UDL guidelines and help to support you and your students with scaffolded skill and development opportunities. Please check them out, and we can be in contact later in the chat or via email if you're interested in learning more. Next slide. And as Christine mentioned, Seesaw is leading the way in equity and inclusion. We are accessible and flexible. Our product and curriculum meet WCAG 2.1, and we're working really hard to 2.2 level AA accessibility standards and supports. You can see a bunch of the different supports here on the screen and so much more. I will drop in our accessibility page into the chat in just a bit. Seesaw's multimodal tools bring universal design for learning into action. Our tools enable equitable participation, student agency, and support accommodations. As Christine also mentioned, we are the first product awarded with CAS UDL certification, and we also want a couple more. Highlighted here are Digital Promise certifications for research-based design, for instructional learning products, and learner variability. Thank you, Sam, for dropping that chat URL into the chat. And we also were awarded with ISTE Seal of Alignment for offering equitable learning experiences. Finally, on our last slide, I invite all of you to help engage the various stakeholders that you support as educators to bring accessible learning experiences to all of your students with Seesaws, instructional tools and resources. We have great instructional tools, assessment and data dashboards, accessible tools and differentiated learning activities and lessons, digital portfolio to capture year-over-year student growth, and student work commenting and translated communication tools. You can learn more about all the ways Seesaw works to support accessibility, equity, and inclusion at seesaw.com. And we love to partner directly with our educators and administrators to build tools directly for you. So I can't wait to connect virtually in the chat or via email or later this summer at UDL-Con International. Thank you.
Awesome, Cheryl. Thank you. And we do appreciate our ongoing partnership. We have a couple minutes and a couple of questions. So one was around how to convince a school site on investing in the enterprise version of Seesaw. So I'll let you respond to that in the chat. The next was about your research, which I think Kelly put some links and there may be a little bit of follow-up about working with students that are 2 or more years below grade level. So I'm not sure if your research addresses that directly. But here live for the full group, I think it'd be great to hear, what does onboarding look like and trainings that Seesaw may provide?
Fantastic. Great question. Yes, we want to partner directly with you to make sure you're all set up for success. Our professional learning team has asynchronous modules that you can use to train one-off teachers or in a PLS type of day, PLC day. That's completely free. We also can work with you to design specific days or segmented days and create that training specifically with you. And that would be part of any purchase that you're working out with us. We can explore that. In terms of the, getting access, once you do make the purchase, or if you just sign up for free online, our team will work with you. Mostly the support team will reach out to make sure rostering is easy and you are ready to go. Christine, I can go ahead and respond to the research question in the chats. And then I know you mentioned one other one that I don't see, but I'm sure you'll point it out to me later.
Yes, and Kelly can help connect you directly with that lead. So incredible. Well, we're at the top of the hour, but we always said we were going to be more than an hour. Actually, at this point, we're going to go to our last but not least, and our most recent CAS partner, LessonPix. Custom learning materials, there's going to be an overview and a walkthrough, and Bill's, who is one of the founders, his email is on this slide, and now I'm going to stop sharing my screen, turn it over to Bill, let him do a quick demo, and then at the end, we're going to come back, we're going to talk about our prizes, opportunities to go to the event, and some other CAS resources. So Bill, stop sharing.
All right. Thank you for having me. And yes, we are, I believe, your most recent we are your most recent partner. You can see basically the same slide you just had up, right? Yes?
No.
No?
No, I see a blank screen. Your home.
Fix it. I can fix it. Give me a second. That one. I shared the wrong screen. How about there? Better?
There we go. That's the slide. Yes.
That's the slide. Okay, great. All right. So we are CAS's most recent partner, and we will be. I'm Bill Blinko from LessonPix. I'm co-founder of LessonPix. My wife and I started this company about a dozen years ago, and we have grown like a weed, and we're really proud of where it's been. We have, rather than showing another set of slides, I thought I would treat this group like they were booth attendees and just let's see the real thing. Let's go in and show what LessonPix does and do it very, very quickly. So I don't usually talk this fast, but I'm going to talk real fast. So LessonPix is an online tool for making visual support. So if you think about how UDL works, it is about being flexible and creating materials for your classroom and setting up your classroom so that you can support the needs of your diverse students and their abilities and their limitations, and making sure that what you've got in your classroom is set up for them. What that means is you are going to create a lot of things that are custom. You're going to create a lot of things that are specific to what you need and aren't necessarily in the curriculum that you're given, or aren't necessarily in what you thought you were going to be doing at the beginning of the school year or the beginning of the day. So LessonPix was created a dozen years ago for honestly, it started as a supplementation for parents and rapidly became a tool for special needs teachers and speech pathologists. Right now, we have about 100,000 users, of which about 60% are speech pathologists. The rest range from special ed, gen ed, parents, and things like that. We're very proud of that growth. It means that we are doing what we want. Most important thing, we are easy, we are affordable. As our t-shirt says, cheap and easy, but in a good way. But it is definitely something where that is our goal. If we are not easy, we are doing our job wrong. So LessonPix is a toolbox. It gives you the things you need to create the materials for your classroom. The most important tools in here, the nuts and bolts, if you think about it, we give you 80,000 symbols that are classroom appropriate, thoughtfully designed, and appropriate for what you're trying to do on every subject. And I mean every subject. If you need pictures, like if you're doing core vocabulary because you're doing a core board, we've got them. We've got high contrast versions. We've got versions for older folks. If you're doing feelings and emotions, we've got pictures for every holiday where we can go through, we have angry calaveras for Day of the Dead. We have all of these things that are available for you to use to customize your classroom the way you want to. When you look at the different sections in the UDL guidelines, there are things that you're going to use all the time. You're going to use a whole stripe of the guidelines are about executive function. We've got tools to do that. So we've got things, and I will pop into a slideshow here for a second. It's not just that one. But it's easier to go through these quickly. So we've got visual. So visual supports for visual schedules, like here. Make sure you guys can see me with the pointer here. There you go. So visual schedules like this. We've got picture cards, word wall words. We've got schedules of every style. So if somebody's into dinosaurs, we've got a dinosaur schedule. That train schedule is one of our most popular. We've got things like scales and ratings for kids to self-assess where they are, first then boards for behavior management, stories and songs for social stories and things like that, wristbands for keeping track of things. All of these are templates that are built into LessonPix, and you don't have to do anything to get these to lay out and be created correctly. We've got eye gaze boards for folks who need to look at it. Like, even if you're temporarily intubated and you're in a hospital setting, you can use this to be able to communicate. Got things for your OTs like fine motor work. The learning games are where we have the most intelligence. It's really cool. If you want to make a set of bingo games for any subject that you're working on, you throw your pictures in the tray, make the bingo cards. You can make as many as you want. We'll randomize them for you and make it super simple. So going back to actually showing how this works, I went ahead and found some things in LessonPix. Again, we've got the library here. You can do a quick search and say, I need pictures of circle time. And we've got pictures of circle time that'll come up. And if you look at all of our matching symbols, you'll get lots of circle time pictures. And you'll get some that are high contrast because I made them that way. You take them, you throw them over into your tray. You say, create materials. What do you want to make? I want to make picture cards, word wall words. A visual schedule is probably what we're going to make with these pictures. But all of these things are in here and they just work. So we're going to make visual schedule. Here's my words. If I want to change the order, I can change the order, but I think arriving is going to come first. If I want to translate it into any other language, I can do that. So I can translate it into Azerbaijani or German or French or Spanish. I can make everything lowercase or uppercase. Or again, this should make this easy to customize. I can change the background colors if I want to. When I hit next, I'm going to choose my layout. I'm going to make something simple like a checklist. Great. It automatically guessed the right number of steps because that's how many things I had in the tray. It'll tell me where I want to put the text and what font I want, and it will make it. It's going to generate a PDF file for me. I download it. I can use it however I want. You'll notice that our PDFs that we create do have actual text in them. So you'll be able to do text to speech. You won't have to OCR them. And that was nice and simple. If I decide I really want some, this is great. I have my checklist for my main classroom, but I need to make something for Joey and he needs large pictures or he needs high contrast. It's nice and simple. I still have the pictures in my tray. And I'm just going to make like 1-page pictures. Make them big to put up and flip through. They're still in here. I've still got the text that I had before. And these options are fine. I will generate it. It should be simple to make materials with LessonPix. This is the general wizard. We also have the ability to modify any of these symbols to make them high contrast. So if you need a high contrast story time picture, you can do that. You go in and you say, I want a black background. I'm going to zoom out a second here. I want a black background. I want to turn on our high contrast filters. And I can make, whoops, this one. Nope, this one. Turn on our high contrast filters. It will make that a high contrast filter. It'll work with any symbol in our set, and it makes it nice and easy. You can also take these pictures. You can move them into PowerPoint. We have an add-in. Goes right here. So that every picture we have can drop right into Google Slides or into PowerPoint or into Microsoft Word. Make them the way you want to. And you can, if I click here, it'll just drop it right into PowerPoint. So you now have a library that works like that. We take great pride in the fact that we let you use the other tools you like. So we're not going to make you learn new tools. If you want to use something other than PowerPoint, if you want to use a Smart Notebook, all of our pictures are exportable in standard formats. All of them work great with other tools. So in fact, I don't know if you can see this anymore, probably small screen, but because of that, you can do things like 3D print them. Like I have a picture here of one of our body figures. You can 3D print them. So all of our things are meant to be as easy as possible. We are very affordable. We are currently $36 per year per teacher or clinician. That probably won't stand, I will be honest. We have been $36 since 2011. Inflation is real, and it's starting to actually feel that way even here at LessonPix. So, but at the moment, we are $36 a year, and we're not going to go crazy. We'll probably bump up marginally over the next year or so. So, Christine, how am I on time?
You're great, and we have some questions. So perfect.
Okay, well, let's do questions.
Yeah, and I'm going to go back to sharing my screen so that
Sure.
way everyone can see your email. But while I'm doing that, there was a question: are there images for religious education teachers?
There are. Let's can you just leave
Yeah, go ahead.
leave mine up? So sure. So if you go into religious education down here, just look at religious and cultures, and you can pick your religion. We made none of these. We did not choose to go in and say, hey, what kind of pictures should we do for indigenous peoples? These are all by request, kind of our restricted pictures. We have a whole bunch of naked people too. We didn't think, hey, let's drop some naked pictures. We work on request, and if we don't have a picture you need, you can always click right here and request a picture. It will make sure you're a human. But once you are proven to be a human, you'll be able to request an image, and we'll be happy to draw it. But yes, we have sections on religious education. We also have a big initiative coming up over the summer on literacy, which will help as well. But yes, if you go into Christianity, you'll see Christianity pictures. If you go into Islam, they really are being driven by who asks the most. So feel free to ask for anything that we are missing.
So I think you really answered this. The question was, does LessonPix create personalized images, or so there's like people request, like you just said, but can you upload your own images into
Absolutely. We make it super easy. You can go right here and manually upload any photo and it will work. Also, you can just email in your pictures to this address. Everybody has their own address. So from your phone, you can snap a picture, email it in. It just shows up down here. Like there's a picture of me, and I can throw it into the tray and work like anything else. Somebody said, can the human images be changed? Yes. I like yes. That's good, right?
Yeah.
So I'll pick a picture of an actual person doing something like this one. So you can always recolor and customize all of our pictures. I showed this with the high contrast, but in addition, let me zoom back out here. If I click on the skin here, it'll open up the right color. I can choose light, medium, or dark, start with dark, maybe go even a little bit darker, hit swap colors. And I definitely would need to get rid of the blonde hair probably. And I can go in, click on the blonde hair, make it black. So you can do that with any colors you want. You can always change our skin tones. And we have 3 good skin tones right here in the palette. It's hard to find good skin tones. So start with these 3 and then adjust as you need to.
Gotcha. Okay. And following up on that, are there resources other are there resources other educators have created and then share for others to use?
Yes,
so
somebody was helping me to tell me that I forgot to show the sharing center. The sharing center is where I would recommend you all go if you want. Thank you, Beth. I'm sure that was Beth. So the sharing center is where I would ask you to go first. It shows what other people have done. For example, if you're working on a book like, I don't know, Brown Bear. If you do any search, it will show what everybody else has made. Zoom back in here. And you can just steal their work, and we encourage it. Like, go in here, I'll steal these brown bear pictures. I want to make a bingo game instead. So rather than downloading this PDF, I can load them up into my tray. Say I want to make bingo cards for 10 kids. It's going to take me like 6 seconds. I want to make 3x3 bingo cards for 10 kids in purple, because why not? Hit finish. It's going to randomize all the cards, put them in a single PDF file, and I'll just download them. So yes, you can steal their work and make it your own.
Gotcha. Okay, so I am going to transition to sharing my screen while you answer this question of whether or not you have an app.
Whether or not, so say it again, you cut out. Whether or not I have what?
Is there an app, like in the App Store?
So there is not an app. However, LessonPix works phenomenally on your phone. So we have a mobile site. So if you go to lessonpix.com in any browser on your phone, there is a mobile optimized site for it. You really can do everything except for the grid books and the symbol builder. You can do it on your phone. You can do every single thing that I showed you on your phone, and it will work perfectly. We do not have an app. I don't want to give 1/3 of our money to Apple to do that. That's really the big driver for why not.
Got it. Okay. Super helpful. Well, here is Bill's email. I know there were some other questions in the chat, and I'm sure folks are looking forward to connecting with you as well.
Email me directly. I'll be happy to respond. That's always true. If you have like how do I pay my bill? Email support@lessonpix.com.
Yeah.
But if you have a question about this stuff, feel free to email me at bill@lessonpix.com.
Awesome. So for everyone else here, I do have to refresh the slides. I think my team is telling me we want to, I'm going to go all the way, I'm going to make a party foul at the end here and get to this part of the slideshow because we're thankful for you. First of all, I give a round of applause to all our presenters. They stayed in time. They were able to answer questions. There was a question to the presenter chat again about privacy, both for students and educators. And that is probably a topic we should address here at CAST publicly, but I'm sure that you all are working on ensuring that you're meeting both state and federal standards on privacy. If you want to stay in touch and learn more about what's going on at CAST, sign up for our newsletter. That's how you can find out about events like this, our conference, and other events. As we mentioned, we are giving away today, for those that attended the live session, one of you will win an online registration for our conference this summer. So the conference will be in person and online. We will have streamed as well as pre-recorded, and then we will record some sessions live and post them later. So if you don't have the funds to travel, but you want to engage with us, please consider registering, and we will announce that winner and let you know next week. And with that, with the product certification, we want you as educators and leaders to ask companies, are you UDL certified? And the more that districts and schools and educators ask that question, the more likely organizations are willing to participate in our process and earn the UDL product certification. We talked about accessibility at the end. All of our tools mention their accessibility features, and CAST has accessibility solutions team. Kelly Suding's on the call today. She's a part of that team. So if you need training or coaching, keynotes, you want customized consultation for the organization you work with, which could be a solution provider or a school or district, we are the team for you. So learn more. And then finally, let us know how we did. This is the first time we ever had a session like this. So thanks again to the teams that were willing to put themselves out there. We have a QR code and a bit.ly here. It's a very short survey, but it really helps us gather data and drive change and for future opportunities. And with that, I will stop talking. I want to thank Kelly and Sam from the CAST team. I want to thank Bill, Cheryl, Colleen, Ben, and Stephanie for being here. And to the rest of you, we can stay on and answer questions in the chat. And otherwise, have a good afternoon or a great day for those that came from Australia.